Hello, I'm Dr. Elena Chirikina, a lifestyle medicine advocate, helping people decode the biology behind chronic stress, hormone imbalances, and nervous system dysfunction. Most people think calm lives in the mind, but in modern humans, calm is often lost in the gut. Let's begin with a simple truth. Calm is not just a mindset. Calm is biological state. And a big part of that state is created far away from the brain, in your intestines, inside an ecosystem of microbes that never sleep. Today we will talk about GABA in the gut, why men and women respond differently, and why food and supplements alone are often not enough. This is not a talk about quick fixes. This is about understanding why the modern nervous system struggles to switch off. Even when you meditate, even when your diet looks perfect on Instagram or on paper. What GABA really is? GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the human nervous system. Inhibitory does not mean weak. It does not mean lazy. It means regulating, slowing, stabilizing. Without enough effective GABA, thoughts race, muscles stay tense, sleep fragments, stress hormones stay elevated. Small problems feel life-threatening. With healthy GABA signaling, your body allows fully asleep, emotional regulation, stress recovery, digestive rest, and a basic sense of safety. And here's the third key correction. GABA is not just brain chemical. It's deeply active in the gut, the immune system, and in the autonomic nervous system, the part that runs your heart rate, your breathing, and your digestion. When we ignore those symptoms, we reduce GABA to a pill, and that is when problems begin. Gut GABA does not need to enter your brain to change how you feel. GABA produced in the gut does not cross the blood-brain barrier efficiently. That is a very important point, and it does not mean gut GABA is useless. Instead, gut GABA works through systems, not through simple delivery. It influences the brain by activating vagus nerve fibers that send messages from gut to brain, calming the enteric nervous system. It's your second brain in the gut, reducing gut permeability, often called leaky gut, lowering inflammatory signaling, and stabilizing your daily cortisol rhythm. So think of gut GABA as training the nervous system, not dosing it. When the gut environment is calm and predictable, the brain keeps receiving a repeated message: you are safe, you can stand down. And safety is always the prerequisite for calm. Certain gut microbes are little GABA factories. They can produce GABA from glutamate, another common brain chemical. The most studied groups belong to Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium. These bacteria can convert dietary glutamate into GABA, interact directly with gut neurons, influence gut motility, and change how strongly you feel gut sensations like cramps or bloating. When these microbes are abundant and well-fed, digestion slows instead of rushing or stopping. Pain perception in the gut decreases, stress signaling from the gut drops, and vagal tone, the resilience of your vagus nerve, improves. This is why so many people feel less anxious after a gut-focused protocol, even if they never worked on their mindset. Now let's talk about unpopular part. Not all microbes are on your side. Some microbes actually consume GABA. They use it as a fuel. They eat it. Many of these microbes thrive in inflamed, stressed environments. They tend to dominate when fiber intake is low, stress is high, cortisol is chronically elevated, and alcohol is a frequent part of your diet, and your sleep is disrupted. So you can eat GABA-supportive food and take expensive GABA supplements and still feel wired and anxious because the ecosystem is wrong. This is not just about adding more good stuff. It's about removing the advantages from the wrong place. How stress shapes the microbiome. Stress is not just in your head. Stress is psychological, yes, but is also hormonal, immunological, and microbial. When cortisol is elevated for long periods of time, gut motility changes. Things speed up or slow down unpredictably. Gut permeability increases. More substances cross the gut wall. Immune tolerance drops, and your immune system becomes reactive. This new environment selects for stress-resistant microbes, inflammatory microbes, and more GABA-consuming species. So stress literally changes which bacteria survive in your intestine. This is one reason anxious people often stay anxious and stressed. People struggle to calm down even when they follow a perfect diet on Instagram. You cannot out-supplement a chronically stressed nervous system. Food that supports GABA-producing microbes. Food still matters, but we must be precise. Foods that support GABA-producing microbes fall into three main categories. First, fermented foods. They provide live bacteria, microbial metabolites, and signaling molecules that talk to your gut. Examples include kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, miso. These foods can directly introduce GABA-capable strains. Second, prebiotic fibers. Prebiotics are food for your microbes. They do not feed you, they feed them. Important fibers include inulin, resistant starch, beta-glucans. You find them in onions, garlic, leeks, oats, legumes. Without consistent fiber, probiotics simply do not survive. Third will be polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant compounds that shape how microbiomes behave. Sources include berries, olive oil, green tea, cacao. They help reduce inflammation and shift microbial gene expression towards a calmer, more tolerogenic state. So it's not only what probiotic should I take, it's more about what world am I asking these microbes to live in. Why food and supplements are not enough. This is one of the most important points. Many people do almost everything right nutritionally and still feel tired, wired, and emotionally fragile. Why? Because GABA is context dependent. Let's walk through the main blockers. Sedentary lifestyle. Movement increases microbial diversity, increases vagal tone, enhances GABA receptor sensitivity. A sedentary body tells your brain you might be sick, you might be trapped. That signals danger and maintains sympathetic fight or flight dominance. You do not need intense workouts. You need regular, predictable movement. On the other hand, too much training and over-exercise raises cortisol, suppresses GABA signaling, and increases inflammation, especially in women. Chronic over-exercise can dramatically collapse inhibitory tone. Alcohol. Alcohol is deceptive. It can temporarily boost GABA signaling. You feel relaxed, social, less inhibited. Then it causes rebound anxiety, damages the gut barrier, and kills some GABA-producing microbes. Regular alcohol use is one of the fastest ways to disrupt the gut GABA axis. Then sleep disruption. Sleep is when GABA receptors reset, inflammation drops, and cortisol normalizes. Poor or irregular sleep impairs GABA sensitivity, keeps stress hormones high, and shifts the microbiomes towards more inflammatory patterns. Medication. Some medications profoundly affect the GABA ecology. Antibiotics, proton pump inhibitors, and some antidepressants. This does not mean they are bad or wrong. It means they create a depth in your gut ecosystem. They might need to be deliberately repaired with lifestyle changes and microbiome support. Let's talk about male and female GABA biology. Men and women do not have the same GABA story. Of course, because men have only testosterone, women have estrogen and progesterone. When hormones enter the room, on average, men to have more stable GABA signaling, less hormonal fluctuation, and more consistent stress responses. Gut-focused interventions in men are usually steadier, slower, and more predictable. Women with natural cycles have greater GABA plasticity, more sensitivity to stress, and often a stronger response to gut interventions, both positive and negative. This response is largely driven by progesterone and its metabolite called Allopregnanolone, a powerful calming neurosteroid. Across the natural menstrual cycle, GABA tone fluctuates and stress tolerance changes. Women can benefit more from gut GABA work and also crash harder if stress, sleep, and nutrition are misaligned. This system is literally designed to adapt rapidly. That is a strength, but also disadvantage in modern chronic stress. Women on hormonal contraception changes the hormonal landscape completely. Birth control suppresses ovulation, suppresses natural progesterone, and removes the natural cycling of allopregnanolone. Synthetic progestins used in many contraceptive pills do not convert into same calming neurosteroids. They can even alter GABA receptor sensitivity. The result for some women, flattened inhibitory tone, blunted stress recovery, and in some women, even increased inflammation. This is not a moral statement. This is biological reality. For clinicians and for women themselves, it means they must take mood, anxiety, and stress responses into account during this hormonal context. Now let's talk about stress, cortisol, and inflammation. Cortisol is not evil if used correctly. Cortisol is anti-inflammatory and very adaptive. Problem starts when cortisol is chronically elevated or cortisol responses are blunted. Blunted cortisol during stress can reduce the ability to control inflammation and prolong immune activation. This is why some women on the pill show lower cortisol reactivity in the lab test, but higher markers of inflammation. Stress without resolution is not just uncomfortable, it's inflammatory. Now let's see how genes and GABA expression affects. Genes do not determine your destiny. They determine your sensitivity. Some people need very little support to feel calm, but others need multiple systems aligned to reach the same sense of safety. Genes can influence GABA receptor density, stress hormone sensitivity, immune tolerance, and even which microbes are more likely to colonize and thrive in your gut. This is why one single protocol will never fit all. And that's the reason why comparing your journey in someone else's Instagram routine is often useless. How to shape the system to support your GABA? You must work on 4 layers at the same time. First is microbiome inputs, food, fiber, fermentation, and, where needed, targeted probiotics. Second is your nervous system regulation, meditation, stress practices, breathing, boundaries, and consistent sleep timing. The third one is physical movement, enough to signal vitality, but not so much that it becomes a daily survival threat. And last one, hormonal contacts for women, understanding where you are standing. Are you on a birth control, natural menstrual cycle, post-pregnancy, perimenopausal, or menopausal? Remove one of these layers and the system becomes fragile. The final message of today's lecture is that GABA in the gut is not about calming pills. It's about safety. It's about rhythm and your recovery. When the body feels safe and brain start to calm itself, then the gut environment signals you are safe, you are fed, you are allowed to rest. GABA can finally do its job. And when you respect your biology, your microbes, your hormones, movement, and mind, calm stops being something you chase and becomes something you can return to. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and see you next time.